There is a silent moment in a woman's life that changes everything. The moment she realizes it was never about her beauty, never about her intelligence, and never about her worth, but about something far deeper, something invisible, yet felt in every hesitation, every distance, and every time someone chose someone else instead. The truth is unsettling, because being chosen does not begin when someone notices you. It begins long before that. In the way you see yourself, in the way you exist within your own mind, and in the identity you carry without ever speaking it. In this video, you will understand why one woman is pursued while another is overlooked, even when they appear equal in every visible way. You will discover the hidden psychological signals that shape attraction, the internal patterns that silently determine how others respond to you, and the powerful inner shift that transforms your presence into something calm, magnetic, and impossible to ignore. By the end of this video, you will not only see attraction differently, you will see yourself differently. And the final insight may completely change the way you experience love, connection, and your own sense of emotional power. Stay until the end. Before we dive in, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. What most people never realize is that attraction does not begin when someone looks at you. It begins when your nervous system decides whether you're already enough. This sounds subtle, but it explains everything. Because the woman who is always chosen is not signaling need, she is signaling completion. And human psychology responds to completion differently than it responds to need. When someone feels internally incomplete, their brain enters a state psychologists call reward uncertainty. Their attention becomes externally anchored. They scan for signs. They wait. They hope. And paradoxically, this very state makes their presence feel unstable. But when someone feels internally complete, their brain exits that loop. Their attention returns inward. Their emotional state stabilizes, and suddenly, their presence feels calm, grounded, and psychologically safe to others. This is not philosophy. This is neuroscience. The human brain is wired to move toward emotional safety and away from emotional unpredictability. Studies in attachment and interpersonal perception, including research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, have consistently shown that individuals perceived as securely self-anchored are rated as more attractive, more trustworthy, and more desirable for long-term connection, regardless of physical appearance. This means attraction is not primarily a visual event. It is a nervous system event. And the nervous system is always communicating, even in silence, even in stillness, even when you say nothing. The overlooked woman often believes her problem is external. She believes she needs to improve her appearance, her communication, her strategy. But the deeper truth is internal. Her nervous system has learned to associate connection with risk. So without realizing it, she enters interactions in a state of subtle self-protection. She filters herself. She adjusts herself. She monitors herself. And this creates something psychologists call incongruence. Incongruence occurs when your external behavior does not fully match your internal identity. And the human brain is remarkably sensitive to this. Research from Harvard University has shown that people can detect emotional incongruence within milliseconds, long before conscious awareness. They may not know why they feel uncertain, but they feel it. And uncertainty reduces emotional investment. This is why effort alone does not create attraction. Presence does. Because presence signals congruence, and congruence signals safety. The woman who is always chosen is not trying to become someone else in order to be accepted. Her nervous system is not negotiating her worth in real time. She has already resolved that question internally. This creates a psychological phenomenon known as non-contingent self-worth. Her value is not dependent on external outcomes. and this changes how she behaves in subtle but powerful ways. She does not rush emotional intimacy to secure reassurance. She does not panic in the face of ambiguity. She does not interpret distance as proof of her inadequacy. Instead, her brain interprets distance neutrally. This neutrality preserves her emotional stability, and emotional stability is deeply regulating to others. Neuroscience research from Stanford University has demonstrated that emotionally regulated individuals can literally regulate the nervous systems of those around them through a process called limbic resonance. This means your internal state directly influences how others feel in your presence, not through words, through biology. When your nervous system is calm, others feel calm. When your nervous system is seeking validation, others feel pressure, and pressure reduces attraction because attraction requires psychological freedom. This explains a paradox that confuses many people. The more someone tries to be chosen, the less chosen they often become, because trying implies uncertainty, and uncertainty communicates instability. But when someone is internally anchored, their behavior changes automatically. They listen more slowly. They respond more authentically. They do not overcorrect themselves in real time. Their attention is not split between the interaction and their own self-evaluation. This creates psychological coherence, and coherence is magnetic. Research published in Psychological Science found that individuals who displayed internal coherence were consistently rated as more attractive and more desirable for commitment, even when observers could not explain why. The observers simply described them as having presence. Presence is not performance. It is the absence of internal conflict. And this is where the real shift occurs. The overlooked woman often abandons herself in small ways to maintain connection. She suppresses opinions. She minimizes needs. She delays authenticity. These behaviors seem protective, but they teach the nervous system that authenticity leads to loss. Over time, the brain learns to associate self-expression with danger. And when the brain perceives danger, it activates defensive patterns. These patterns are subtle: increased self-monitoring, reduced spontaneity, emotional hesitation. Others sense this hesitation not consciously, but biologically. And hesitation reduces perceived certainty. Certainty, on the other hand, increases perceived value. This is because the human brain equates certainty with survival advantage. Someone who is certain in themselves appears psychologically resourced, and the brain is always drawn to perceived resources. The woman who is always chosen is not chosen because she never feels fear. She is chosen because fear does not reorganize her identity. She feels it, but she does not obey it. She remains behaviorally consistent with her authentic self. This consistency teaches her nervous system that authenticity is safe. Over time, her baseline state becomes regulated rather than vigilant, and vigilance is the true enemy of attraction, because vigilance divides attention, and divided attention weakens presence. But regulated attention strengthens presence, and presence strengthens connection. This is why the shift from overlooked to chosen does not begin externally. It begins neurologically. When your nervous system stops seeking external permission to feel worthy, your behavior changes automatically. You stop performing. You stop anticipating rejection. You stop interpreting every signal as a verdict on your value. And this creates emotional spaciousness. Others feel this spaciousness. They feel free to move toward you rather than responsible for stabilizing you. This distinction is everything, because people do not commit to those who need commitment to feel complete. They commit to those who are already complete and therefore capable of genuine connection rather than psychological dependency. This is supported by decades of attachment research, including findings recognized by the American Psychological Association, showing that secure individuals consistently form stronger, more stable, and more desired relationships. Security is not created by being chosen. Security is what makes you chosen. And once this internal shift happens, something remarkable occurs. Rejection no longer feels like personal invalidation. It feels like informational feedback. Your nervous system remains stable. Your identity remains intact. And stability preserves your presence. This is why the woman who chooses herself first appears different. Not because she is trying to appear different, but because her brain is no longer organizing her behavior around the avoidance of loss. It is organizing her behavior around the expression of truth, and truth is coherent. And coherence is rare, and rare psychological states are perceived as valuable. This is the hidden architecture of attraction, not beauty, not tactics, not performance, but nervous system stability, identity congruence, and internal self-selection. And once this becomes your baseline, you stop experiencing connection as something you must earn. You begin experiencing it as something that naturally aligns with who you already are.